we're here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the quick one moment that kind of catapulted me. This happened about 20 years ago. My brother at the time had a 3-year-old baby, and I was in his apartment, and I told him, I'm gonna make some money through my music. I'm gonna take you on a cruise ship, man. And I left the apartment. About a few months later, I get the call that he passed away, committed suicide, and this was up in the Massachusetts area. I think it was Vermont, New Hampshire at the time. And I went down to Florida. I just was like, all right, I'm going far away from here. I went down to Florida, and I'm skipping a bunch of pieces, but I was working at Whole Foods as a vitamin salesman because I love nutrition, I love health, and positivity. And I was just like, I need a job working at this vitamin shop at Whole Foods. And my roommate at the time was a producer by the name of Sam Sleepyhead. He was 18. I barely knew him. He heard me freestyle once, and he called me and was like, hey man, remember, I'm Sam. I was in the car with you. I heard you freestyling. I want to make a record for you. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, well, I'm in Florida. He's like, you need a roommate? And I was like, sure, dude. So he came down on a Greyhound, barely knew this guy, met him once, became my roommate. And we make a record called Intergalactic Vibes. And he tells me about this thing called Jam Cruise, which is this cruise ship with all these incredible artists on it. A lot of big name jam artists like Les Claypool and Bella Fleck, Michael Franti. Okay. And at the time I didn't know any of those artists. I was a straight hip hop guy, like only hip hop music. And so I go to work the next day after Sam tells me about this thing called Jam Cruise. I'm working in the vitamin department. This guy walks down the aisle. He's got a cough. I'm like, oh, can I help you? He's like, yeah, I got this cough. He has a t-shirt on. It says Jam Cruise. And I'm like, oh, dude, my roommate was telling me about Jam Cruise yesterday. He's like, oh, that's my thing. And I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, that's my I put that on Cloud9 Productions. And I'm like, wow. And I go, I'm a MC. Here's a flyer for this new CD I made. He goes, oh, you should go on Sonic Bids and enter this contest. They're looking for, DJ MCs, live guitar players to win a spot on the cruise ship. Wow. So I enter it, fill out the Sonic Bids. About 2 weeks later, I get the phone call while I'm at Whole Foods. Nah. You've been selected as a winner for the Jam Cruise out of thousands of people. And I'm just like, what? So the next thing you know, I'm on this cruise ship performing. I meet all these Michael Franti's like, yo, come rap with me. I meet this other EDM artist. He's like, come tour with me. I'm in Jamaica at Bob Marley's house crying. Like my mind is like, what? And literally from that day, I full music, full touring around the world, putting records out, so.
Dude, that's some serendipity, fate meets.
Yeah. I remember it was about 2 a.m. on the cruise ship. I'm at the edge of the boat. I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise. This is my first time. And it's just like the ocean's moving in front of you, stars. I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking of my brother, like, I'm here, man. I did it. You're
I did it for you kind of thing.
We're together. I'm on this cruise ship, dude. Like, how's this even possible?
That's crazy.
That's just the quick, and then at one point I was the lead singer for a San Francisco band. We toured around America. We did a tour in Australia, and then
Boulevard.
Yeah, Boulevard.
That's right.
Then parted ways with Boulevard to focus on my solo career, and that was probably 12 years ago. Yeah. Music will guide you and take you on a journey if you're open to it and your intention's pure. My intention always has been to be creative, be the best MC I can be open, be an open channel for the message and be positive. I don't curse in my swears just because, I'm not against cursing and swearing, but when I'm recording something, I have the option of whether to put it in there or not. I typically will not put it in.
It's a really good point, actually, because as verses go on, I didn't notice that swearing wasn't there, but if you were to have asked me, is it aggressive? Does it have the same attack? I would have said yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly. I guess that's what you want to hear, right? You want to hear that it's got the same aggression, but there's more articulation than just a swear word.
Yeah. even when I was, you know, mostly a freestyle MC, I could freestyle for 24 hours straight without cursing. And I never had a fallback that was like a curse, because I always was just trying to be more intentional with my words.
See, man's got a stack of books behind him. Let's see what's going on here. The wordsmith.
Yeah, that, you know, I love reading as well, but that's mostly, I'm not going to take credit for my wife's collection. She can actually read all these. It takes me a long time to read a book. I listen to them in audio, but
yeah, I'm an audio fan, me.
Yeah, man.
I'm all about that. Yeah, well, that's crazy. So just jumping back into the Boulevard thing, like, because I've noticed you've got like a hardcore devotee of fans. Like, they follow you. Mm-hmm. Did a lot of that come through the growth of, you know, being affiliated and associated with the different projects like Boulevard, for instance? Or did this come from like pounding at the door with your own individual releases?
I was only with Boulevard for about a year and a half, maybe 2 at the most. We put 1 record out. When I met them, they were already a 3-piece electronic band.
Right.
Freestyled with them at a couple shows, went well. We wrote a record. We did a tour, and that was about it. We had another record ready to go, but when I parted ways with the band, never went out. So I was Souleye for at least a decade before I met Boulevard.
Right.
I was touring with some EDM artists, the Glitch Mob, BASSNECTAR.
There's my boys. Ed, hold tight.
I love those guys. They would have me up on the mic, man, and
oh man, those are my people.
Everywhere from, you know, Jackson Hole, Wyoming to Burning Man. I was doing concerts. Boston.
When was that? That must have been reasonably...
probably 2007, 8, 9, 2006, 7, 8, 9, about 3 or 4 years. And with BASSNECTAR at the time, I did about 200 shows, and every single show I did with him was improv, freestyle. It was to the point where we're on stage, massive crowd, and everyone's dancing, and he'd step on my foot, and then I would know it's a 4 count. I was literally like a lyrical foot pedal.
That's so... I love that.
As soon as he stepped on my foot, I knew the beat was about to drop, and I was going to just start rhyming.